All right, hello, hello. We are back tonight, House in Fata Morgana. My throat is a little bit sore for some reason, so we might not do a full stream, or I may just cut down on some of the voices, um, as varied as they always are. But we are back, so let's do our quick recap. All right, so Giselle had us tell Nellie about Morgana, but she thought Saint's blood comes from Pauline and had no idea about who's in the tower. We explained our foreknowledge with a story about a carrier pigeon and told her Mel's one of the three men keeping Morgana locked up, but she was reluctant to believe us and kicked us out. We pressed Mell again about Morgana and asked for his key, but he warned that his cohorts won't be as easy to overcome. Mell lashed out when we warned that Nellie will also die on the Harvest Festival, and we got Nellie to hear everything. We told Mell to tell Nellie the truth after she ran off, but he's just mad at us for ruining everything and killed us with a candle knife. Yeah, that really didn't work out for us very well. So we died. It was we died at Mel's hands, and that's just insult to injury, I think. Like, I expect the other two to murder us, but Mel? Really? And really, we only died because we kind of sat there and went, you don't have the guts to do it, and then found out, yes, he actually did. So, go figure. Let's see. Second try, we chased after Nellie and told her to face the real man her brother is to save what remains of their relationship. She's still grappling with the knowledge that Mel could even threaten to kill someone, but we framed it as him having kindness that got twisted by circumstance. We promised to stand by her as her brother when she tries. Mel confessed his sins against the Saintess to Nellie, and she demanded to know how he felt about all of it. Mel told the story from his perspective, focused on the pressure he felt as the heir of the family headship and disownment from his uncle that put him and Nellie close to poverty. In their lonely new home, all they had was each other, so he fixated on maintaining his prince status in her eyes, even when she wanted to marry him. He tried to be Morgana's friend at first, despite her reticence. Morgana declined to meet Nellie in person after giving some blood. So yeah, we are back on that. That's fair. Yeah, we are a frail albino, and Mel does seem to have been older than we expected him to be. So, yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily feel bad about being overpowered. I just feel stupid that we sat there and went, I bet you can't do it. And he went, I bet you I can. And then he did it. So, we misjudged something in there. All right, let's go ahead and load up. Oops, wrong one. This is why you don't have multiple save files, kids. There we go. Nellie recovering was a huge weight off my shoulders. Now everything could go back to the way it was, quiet and unremarkable. I could finally go out and get a real job, forget about my old life, live like a regular old commoner. That was what I was going to do, for the both of us. The problem was, Nellie hadn't actually recovered completely. I know, multiple save files that are all black screens, so it really doesn't help me to figure out which one is which. I don't. Sometimes I play myself, it's fine. She was in nearly perfect health after the few for the she was in nearly perfect health the first few days after drinking Morgana's blood, but soon her fever came back. She stopped being able to get out of bed, and to top it all off, she started having lengthy coughing fits. During some of them, she coughed up little bits of bloody phlegm. I nearly had a panic attack. So I rushed down to Morgana's cottage and told her what was happening, to which she responded with a quizzical tilt of her head. Nellie's health meant everything to me. It certainly wasn't the curiosity her head tilt seemed to make it out to be, but it didn't seem to bother her at all. The miracle took place, but it didn't persist. That doesn't make much sense. But it's true. She can't get out of bed. And it's not a problem with her faith. I've been teaching her the word of God every night. And she absolutely believes in you, in her saint. Lower your voice. I will perform another miracle for her. You'll do it again? I will not forsake those who are in need. And it'll stick this time, right? I cannot promise anything. But why? Your miracles aren't supposed to be temporary, are they? Whether they are or not is decided by you and your sister. You're my only hope, though. Please do not worry. If a second blessing is not enough to cure her of her ailment, then I will visit and give her my blood as many times as is necessary. I will gladly give her every last drop of blood in my body. I assure you, my father does not want to see two young souls like yourselves torn apart. And neither do I. We should get going. All right. For the second time, Morgana had Nellie drink of her blood. And for the second time, she was healthy again the next morning. And for the second time, she fell ill again shortly thereafter. Her fever returned. I went to get Morgana, and she gave Nellie her blood. The cycle repeated again and again, and every time I had to watch her go through that ceremony. It was exhausting, and I wasn't sure I could handle it much longer. I started thinking that maybe there wasn't anything sacred about any of this, that it was as blasphemous as it looked from the outside. I was making a girl cut her own wrist and feed my sister her blood. Nothing about that sounded right, but I had nowhere else to go. No one else to ask for help. When I was with Morgana, listening to her words of reassurance, she, without fail, wiped away all the doubt I had. It wasn't until after she left that the wave of regret hit me. I wasn't sure what was right and wrong anymore. I wasn't sure what to do anymore. Every time I went to see Morgana, it got more and more difficult to look her in the eye. I stopped asking her on walks as often, and I stopped trying to have chats with her, not so much out of a sense of guilt, but because I was getting to be afraid of her. Yeah, Jesus' first public miracle was turning water into wine, but that doesn't mean they never ran out of wine to drink. I mean, it's a good point. I am curious, like, if Nellie's illness isn't actually being cured by Morgana, right? We have the idea that Morgana's blood is actually normal. Then why is Nellie recovering? Right? Like, you would... I don't know if anything can be solved with drinking someone's blood. Maybe it can, other than, vampire conditions, but something's not adding up here. Like, if Saint's blood actually kind of does work, what the hell is Morgana? Yeah, that's true. Maybe the placebo effect can only kick in so many times. Maybe the blood is helping a little, but not enough. Yeah, maybe. Maybe she's just got something like I don't know, an iron deficiency or something. I don't know what you could get from drinking blood. I can't say I've researched that, but maybe there's just something she's deficient in and she gets it from Morgana when she drinks her blood. I don't know. One of those draining days, someone knocked on the door. I hadn't asked Morgana to come down that day, so I wasn't sure who it could be. Nellie was asleep in her bed, so I quietly rose from my seat and made my way to the door, trying not to wake her. Who is it? Hello? Who's there? I had an inkling of a suspicion, but having been raised in such a sheltered environment, I didn't understand exactly how dangerous it was to thoughtlessly open the door to anyone who came knocking. I pulled the door inward a couple inches and tried to take a peek through the crack. When, out of nowhere, someone grabbed my shoulder and shoved me, helpless to resist, into the house. A man stood there above me. Yeah, don't ask me. It's not like I'm a vampire or anything. Also, close those blinds. You're letting the burning sunlight in. Yeah, maybe that's our problem. Maybe Nellie's actually a vampire. I don't know. Speaking of vampire-looking motherfuckers, what do you think you're doing? What do you want from me? I don't have anything valuable. I'm just a regular old peasant. I'm not here to rob you. What? You're in contact with the witch, are you not? Huh? The girl who lives by the lake calls herself a witch. Witch? I I don't know any witch. The only one who lives there is a saint. A saint? I was told she was a witch. But regardless, there's a girl who lives there with miracle blood. No? Uh, Looks like I've got the right person. What? What do you want from me? I want you to help me. Huh? I need you to lure the witch out into the open. And why do you need that? Because I need her blood. I need to get my hands on the witch's miracle blood. Then go ask her for it yourself. Why should I have to help you? She won't open the door for me. But you, I've seen you talking to her. You seem to be quite friendly with the witch. Taking little walks around the lake. How? I need your help. And what are you going to do once you have her outside? I have orders from the Lord to take her captive. But the Lord? Why would he? That is none of your concern. I don't care who the IRS sends. I'm not paying taxes. And Yukimasa is a creep. He was semi-normal for a while when we saw him in Pauline's flashbacks, but I can't say I've really liked him in Morgana's era. He's been more than kind of a creep. He's just been creepy. So, you expect me to buy that? All I need from you is to get the witch out of that house. Why would I? She doesn't trust me. I could always force my way in, but there's a chance something might go wrong, and I can't risk that. If she hears your voice, she'll open the door. Yes? The witch trusts you, unlike me. With your help, there's no risk of anything going wrong. No, You barge in here and tell me you want to capture her, and you just think I'm going to agree to help? Like hell I will! I know, he's so creepy, we can't even be attracted to the whole murderer part, and the sad thing is, I think we've been attracted to, like, every other murderer we've ever come across. Like, that's our thing. Like, come on, Yukimasa, step it up. You've got to get to sexy murderer. Or at least not, like, I'm actually going to skin you alive while you sleep. Oh, don't worry. You'll get your share. You need the witch's blood too, right? I don't care about getting a share. You're asking me to deceive her. I don't care what you think she is. She hasn't done anything wrong. So no, I won't help you capture her. You leave me no choice then. But, He approached the bed where Nellie slept, drawing his sword and pressing the tip against her throat. It happened so quickly and without any warning that my mind couldn't keep up. I stood there, mouth half open like an idiot. If I were courageous, if I were gallant and brave, then maybe I would have grabbed him, pulled him away from Nellie. But my legs seemed to be severed from my mind. They were frozen to the floor like two useless rocks. You have two options. Either you say no and protect the witch. Get away. Or you help me capture her. Get away from her. Right now. And if you choose the witch, I kill the girl. Get away! Make your decision. Get away from her! You have until the count of 10. If you don't choose, I kill the girl. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, Okay, okay, I'll do it. I'll help you. So get your sword out of her face. Don't kill her. I thought you'd hold out until the last second. Exactly. Good on you for having a spine for 5 minutes, Mel, but I'm also judging him slightly for not even holding up until the count of one. We didn't even get to the bottom five numbers. He got halfway and went, oh shit. Well, what are you waiting for? Let's get going. Get moving. Oh, you pitiful little boy. I felt like jumping into a lake. I couldn't make sense of how I had ended up in such a position. Just a few months earlier, I'd been living back at my family's estate, hardly a worry in the world. Nellie had been healthy and happy. It hadn't been exciting, no, but I had figured that was how things would always be. That one day I would fall for some noble girl. Nellie would get jealous, and I would have to spend several days or even weeks pacifying her. Everyone would be happy, a life free of troubles, because that was normal, and I was normal. So what was I doing living in some tiny cottage so far from home, feeding my sick sister miracle blood? What was I doing walking beside this barbarian? What was I doing at all? That is true. Yukimasa does feel like the type to do like a 1 to 10 kind of countdown, so I will give you that. Like we all knew that he was going to pick Nellie. I don't think anyone was worried about that. But I was expecting him to be a little less decisive about it, considering how few decisions he's made before this. I was conflicted. Part of me hoped we would never arrive at the lake, and part of me wanted to get there as quickly as possible so I could be done with all of this. But time plodded on no quicker or slower than normal, and we arrived at Morgana's door in short order, irrespective of my own selfish hopes. The thought of what was going to happen next filled me with a crushing sense of guilt. I may have been afraid of Morgana, but I had no grudge against her. I was actually quite grateful to her. She was still healing Nellie, even if the ceremony to do so inspired fear in me. She didn't hesitate to cut her own wrist open for Nellie, and for me. She didn't grimace or even frown, though I knew it had to hurt. I knew damned well she wasn't a bad person, that she hadn't done anything to warrant being taken into custody. She might very well have been a genuine saint, but there I was, selling her out because a man with a sword threatened me. Oh, Father who art in heaven, please forgive me for what I'm about to do. Please, please forgive me. Quit sniveling. You want her to get suspicious? But you, how? I can't, you, please, oh God. Ah! Stop crying. Or would you rather I kill you here? Just close your eyes. It'll be over before you know it. Do it. Call on the witch. Who's there? Um, it's me. Uh, I'm not here about Nellie today. I I'm sorry for being so distant lately. I want to talk things over. I thought I heard a faint gasp through the door, and then she responded, I want to talk to you too. Why? Why did she have to want to talk now? She had always been so curt, so rational, so quick to cut down my fantasies, never one to get emotional or sentimental. She had always given off the impression of being something greater than we mere humans. Always been so aloof, never giving any indication she thought anything of me at all. So why? Why did she sound like a normal girl now? Why was her voice trembling slightly when she said she wanted to talk? Why now, of all times? Oh. Get back. No. Stay away from me. No. He- Help. T- Don't, don't kill me. Take it. What? That's your share. Should last you long enough. Why? 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 Did you take my arm? What do you mean by share? Why? Why? Uh, It all happened in less than a minute. I told her she wanted to dock. She opened the door. Then I heard a sound like the wind whipping past my ear. And the next thing I knew, her cottage was covered in blood. Never once did I expect anything to happen how it did. When he'd said he wanted to capture her, I took it to mean exactly that. I hadn't thought he would turn brutal, that he would do something so horrific. After the man cut her arm off, Morgana tumbled to the floor, floundering about as he watched, blood trickling down the curved blade in his hand. Her screams were indistinguishable from those of a normal person. I swear to God, like half of the lines I've done in this game have been all like indistinguishable, just moaning. Arm, her arm. Kneeling in the grass at the lakeshore, I vomited and I vomited and I vomited. The things I had seen in the cabin were far too much for me to handle. I tossed the arm, Morgana's arm, the man had given me into the lake. What else was I supposed to do with it? It was an arm, a human arm. You would have to be insane to go around carrying someone's severed arm. I tried to convince myself it was all a dream, some terrible nightmare, but I could still feel the warmth of her skin fresh on my hands, the warmth of her blood on my fingers, dragging me back to reality. My mind couldn't keep up with the flood of thoughts and emotions and images. I wanted to close my eyes, but I was too afraid I would find the bloodbath in the cottage on the back of my eyelids, which left me with nothing to do but wail. I was horrified at what I had done. I knew that I was the one who had set it all in motion. If I had kept quiet, Morgana wouldn't have had her arm cut off. I didn't want to admit that it was my fault. I didn't want to accept that I had caused it. I I did nothing wrong. It's not my fault. I I was he threatened me. So it's not my fault. I had no choice. I didn't do anything. I frantically scrubbed my blood-soaked clothes in the lake. As I watched the red clouds spread, I knew I was defiling something pure and beautiful, but my awareness of that fact was slowly dissipating like the blood through the clear water. By the time I had gotten all the blood off my clothes, the sun was beginning to set. I came back to my senses at the sound of a bird chirping, and quickly recalled that I had left Nellie alone at the house. My legs were shaking, and I could barely keep myself upright, but remembering her gave me enough motivation to drag myself back home. If she hadn't been there waiting for me, I seriously might have thrown myself into the lake instead. That's a good question. Yeah, did Mell poison the water supply by chucking the arm there? Like, that is a very good question. I don't know how long ago this was, but like that would explain why the entire town died. Mell, what's the matter, dearest Mell? Where have you been? Mell? I'm so sorry. What? I'm so, so sorry. Will you ever be able to forgive me? Dearest Mell, I never meant for this to happen. I'm so sorry. Please, I'm begging you to forgive me. I'm begging you. Were, were you not able to get my medicine? Is that what you're crying about? It's not that big a deal, Mell. I'm just fine. Honest. I'm all right. Thanks. I I wanted to forget everything. I wanted to forget about my involvement, about the horrible things I caused to happen. But whenever I lay down to go to sleep, I heard her screams, Morgana's animalistic howls. I saw her cottage, blood splattered everywhere. I felt her severed arm still warm in my hands. From that day on, what sleep I got was hardly restful. Nellie probably didn't notice anything through her feverish haze, but I'm willing to bet I looked like hell. Praying time would cause the memory to fade. I started looking for doctors again. Instead of clinging to a miracle, I would try to have Nellie's sickness cured the way normal people did. At some point, though, all that money I'd been given started running low. If I'd thought about it for 2 seconds, I would have seen it coming. I hadn't exactly been frugal in my attempts to find a cure for Nellie, nor had I been especially concerned about money before she fell ill. I was so used to living like an aristocrat, and I hadn't succeeded in breaking those old habits, which left me with only one thing I could do for Nellie: be with her day in and day out. Every day that passed, I lost a little more hope. If I couldn't do anything and Nellie died, I would be utterly alone. And that was what scared me more than anything. The nightmares were eating away at me, leaving me with nowhere to run. And if I didn't have someone there with me, I wouldn't have been able to hold myself together. After 3 or so days of me sitting by Nellie's bedside, hardly moving, there was a knock on the door. Who's there? Who is it? Open the door, unless you want me to kick it down. Ugh. My suspicion was correct. I couldn't think of anyone else who would come to visit, but what I didn't know was why he had come back. I don't want anything to do with you anymore. Open the door. Leave me alone, please. I want nothing to do with anything you're doing. Open the door. No, I'm not letting you in for any reason. Okay, then. I'll break it down. Don't. My sister's inside, sleeping. I don't need you waking her up. Then open it. What do you need? I did everything you asked me to already. What happened to the witch's arm? I threw it. I threw it away. You really think I was going to keep that? A person's arm! Mell, what's going on? Do we have a visitor? Nellie, I should get them something to drink. Don't worry about it, Nellie. You get some sleep, all right? Can we go outside? I'd really rather not talk in here. Fine by me. There we go. I'm respecting your privacy by knocking, but asserting my authority as a dude with a sword by coming in anyway. It was very polite of him to at least knock and not just break down the door out of impatience. So, you know, that's something. So, that's your sister? Explains why you look so much alike. That's none of your damned business. Yeah, the bar's in hell. It really is. Look, Yukimasa, we can't even sexualize here. The bar doesn't go anywhere at the moment. The bar is unrecoverable. So, you wanted the miracle blood to cure your sick sister, did you not? And you're telling me you threw the arm away. There we go. The bar has sunk into the depths of Fata Morgana. Are you interested in getting more blood? What? We're taking the witch's blood, turning it into a medicine, and selling it through the church. Selling it? You're doing business in a house of worship? No. I suppose we're technically giving it away. But we're asking for tithes, so really it's the same thing. Am I saying that right? Tithes? Tithes? I've been assuming it's tithes. I'm not from this land, so to me it looks no different than a business. But the people here, they see it as charity. The Lord says if you'll assist us, he'll provide you with the medicine we're making. The Lord? Why would the Lord be... Hell if I know. Because it seems like good money. So, will you help us? You're gonna make me get my hands dirty for you again? I can't. Not again. Oh, right. I forgot to mention one detail. You don't have a choice this time. Huh? You know about the miracle blood, which means we can't let you go unattended. Yay, I guessed right. Occasionally, I do guess right. It's rare, but sometimes I can guess pronunciation correctly. If you say no, I have permission from the Lord to kill you on the spot. Why? So, will you help us? Or will you die here? What was the right thing for me to do then? Should I have fought back and died? Should I have tried to run? Should I have taken my own life? I'm sure you've heard enough to know by now that I'm a weakling, a pushover. I didn't have the spine to do anything but agree to meet with the Lord. He told me about the mansion, and he gave me one of a set of 3 keys. I wanted so badly to get rid of the key, but with that man's shadow constantly hanging over me, I couldn't bring myself to do it. Not when I could be the next one to end up losing a limb or 2. There was no way I could have disobeyed them. And that's everything that happened 6 months ago. Every day since I've arrived here, I've brought Morgana breakfast and supper. She doesn't say anything, but I saw it in her eyes the first time I stepped through that door. How could you do that to me? I've never looked her in the eyes since, because I'm too afraid of what I might see in them. Jacopo, you should have learned about what Jesus did to merchants trying to sell stuff in God's house. Look, Jacopo has not cared about really anything morality related, and something tells me he's not going to start now. And that is how I ended up here. So he was threatened. He didn't actually want to cause Morgana harm. That doesn't excuse what he's done, though. See, what did I tell you? I'm not at all the brother you thought I was. Mock me, ridicule me, call me worthless, a coward, a terrible person. Go on, what are you waiting for? But you were threatened, Mell. He said he would hurt me. Hurt you. That's the only reason you went along with him. You didn't do anything wrong, dearest Mell. The other man is the bad guy, not you. You did the best you could. You didn't have a choice. That terrible man forced you to do everything. Nellie. You didn't do anything wrong, dearest Mell. No, I didn't. I didn't do anything wrong. I had no other choice. Okay, Mell, yeah, I'm glad Michael is about to call him on it. I'm assuming at least. Look, Nellie can forgive you and say that you didn't do anything wrong. I have no problems with that. She's like 8. You're her brother. You do not get to get out of the target quite as easily as you're trying to dodge it at the moment. Yeah, exactly. If I were Morgana, I would be sitting there going, cool story, bro. Now give me my fucking arm back. Like, that's not true. All you're doing is closing your eyes. What? You mustn't coddle yourself. What was I supposed to do then? Don't be mean to my Mell. Did you really do the best that you could? Did you even once try to do something about the situation, as hopeless as it may have seemed? Could you not even conceive of any other options? Could you not have come up with something else to say at Morgana's house? Something that might have given her even the slightest clue she was in danger? But when she opened the door, did you do anything? Did you even so much as attempt to stop him? My legs were shaking so bad. I couldn't move. There's no way I could have stopped him. Then at the very least, you shouldn't have fled. You should have stayed and told her the truth. That you weren't there willingly, and maybe she wouldn't have felt so utterly betrayed. But he was there. You think I could have actually stayed there with him? Not a chance. And it's not like Morgana would have... She opened the door because she trusted you. She isn't the easiest person to read, but she was opening up to you. And what did you do with that trust? Stop it. Please, you've made your point. It's not all Mell's fault either. If anything, he's a victim. He was just trying to protect me. Were you listening to anything he said, Nellie? You were not Mell's first priority. He did what he did for his own sake. What did you expect me to do? Pull courage I don't have out of thin air? What's so wrong with self-preservation? There was nothing I could have done to stop him. I'd love to see you try and do any better. Then maybe you'll understand how scared I was, how little I could have done. It must be nice to be an outsider, to talk about my experiences like you know anything, analyze my decisions, go on about what I should have done. You don't have a damned clue how terrifying it all was, how I felt having to go through it. Oh yeah, you're right, it sure would be the courageous thing to do to sacrifice your life for someone else. But you know what? People like that only exist in stories. Except you don't actually understand that. You just want to give me crap for not being perfect. Do you want my pity? Is that all you want? If I tell you I feel bad for you, and oh, how hard it must have been, will that satisfy you? Do you not want to know what you can do now? What's even left to do? Nothing I do is going to make her situation any better. It won't make her arm come back. All is not yet lost. Open your eyes Take a good long look inside yourself. Think about what you can do. Stop sitting on your hands, telling yourself it's too late. There's still time to make a difference. You just have to commit to act. I don't think you're an especially bad or cowardly person. I think you're an ordinary young man. It might sound like I'm telling you to do the impossible, but soon the time will come when you must make your choice. When you must stand up and take some responsibility for what you've done. No one's childhood lasts forever. The good days are long behind you before you ever realize they've passed. When faced with the consequences of your actions, you should not have turned and run, but held yourself accountable. It is perhaps a disproportionately large burden for you to bear, but it's fast approaching, and you need to make a decision. Find your courage. Set Morgana free. Mell. Mell. But even if I open the door for her, it's too little too late. Okay, it can't be too little too late when you currently have her locked up. Like, it's something, right? If you give her freedom, it's something. Rather than keeping her locked up, you're just digging yourself a deeper hole here. Exactly, Mell, we're not here to judge you. We're here to fix the problems you're currently still contributing to. We're gonna leave the judgment part to God. We left it to Morgana before. That didn't work out so well for you. But I will kind of say you kind of deserved it. So, she'll never forgive me after. Is her forgiveness the reason you should act? No, it's penance for what you've done to her. Yeah, I hope that she honestly never forgives you. I'm sorry. I'm not. We already know that I am not forgiving. I am the villain here, but, like, sorry, fuck him. Atonement for your sins. Whether she forgives you or not is beside the point. The question on the table right now is whether you're going to do the right thing. And what about her blood? Without Saint's blood, Nellie won't... You don't have to worry about me, dearest Mell. My life isn't so important that I want to take someone else's away to keep it. I'll think about what I can do to help too. Oh, honey. It's partially my fault after all. So please, Mell, set the Saintess free. Your quiet life is built on a foundation of lies. And I know that by now, you've realized there's no real value in a life like that. You wanted to do something about this. You sought salvation. Salvation? But who would give it to me? I already told you I would. But why? Because I promised you. And you expect me to believe that? Yes. If you choose to sit here and wallow in your regret, there's no going back. Now is your only chance to make a change. Mell? All right. I'll help. I'll help you set her free. Dearest Mell, I knew all along that was what I needed to do. But I could never bring myself to act on it. There was no way I could accomplish anything alone. I'm basically helpless on my own. Everything about this is so completely outside anything I've ever had to deal with before. So I had no way of having any idea what I was supposed to do about it. To be fair, Mell, I think that the number of people who have had this exact experience is probably pretty low. God can be pretty cruel. Why would he force a boy like me to make such a difficult choice? Yes, he can be. You were made to be a part of a more normal, a less tumultuous world. But you've come too far to go back to that. So the least you can do is change the world you're in now. Yeah, I doubt I need to remind you. But, you can't get in with only my key. You need all three, and the other two, they don't feel an ounce of remorse. Taking their keys won't be easy. Easy or not, we have to get them. And I'm sure there's a way. There must be. Just so we're clear, you're not going to overpower them. The guy with the sword's much stronger than you, and he knows how to use a blade. And he's the Lord's bodyguard, so you're not getting near the Lord either. Even the two of us together wouldn't stand a chance against him. You seem pretty weak from the looks of you. Who knows, maybe I am stronger than you? God, I really do want to hit this boy. Deep breaths, Michael. Deep breaths! There must be some way we can get their keys. I know they both have people they're close to. Huh? People they're close to? We can talk about that later. Now that you've made your decision, talking with me isn't your top priority, is it? Mell. Nellie. I'm sorry for involving you in all this. And I'm really sorry for being, well, what I am. I'm no prince, that's for sure. You always were my prince, though, dearest Mell. You did your best to be the brother I wanted you to be. Honestly, I adored the way you fawned over me. All that affection just felt so good. What? It made me feel like I was special, important. Having someone to care for, to pamper, it was empowering. That's the kind of guy your brother is. If someone else, some other girl were to ever show up and call me her prince, say she loved me, I would probably try and act like a prince for her too. Why would you say that? Because all this, it's been so hard on me, such a huge weight on my shoulders, that every so often I would think, just how much easier would it be if I could get rid of her? If Morgana was just a regular girl, not a saint or a witch or any of that, just a pretty girl about my age, she might have been the one getting all of my attention instead of you. That's who I am. That's not you, dearest Mell. You're just beating yourself up. Maybe you would have chosen her over me, but that wouldn't make you any less of a kind man. How can you say that after everything I just told you? Because, Mell, Tell me how despicable I am, Nellie. I'm not the brother you once adored anymore, am I? You're not what I thought you were. But you're still my one and only brother. Hey, what about us? Are we just chopped liver now? There we go. Giselle, you're more familiar with the future than we are. What new technology can we, quote-unquote, invent to get an upper hand? Like, come on, can we do a water filtration system? Or, like, can we just get a lock-picking kit? And spend the next, 2 days learning how to use it? Like, don't get me wrong. I absolutely get that that would be horrible storytelling. But it's not a bad way to get around needing their keys. I'm just going to put that out there. That will never change, no matter what kind of person you become. It was wrong of me to try and make you into my prince, Mell. I should have done my job as your one and only sister in the whole wide world, been there to help you as much as you helped me. I kept pushing my fairy tale fantasies onto you, and you did your best to live up to them. And I ended up forcing you to pretend to be someone you're not. That's not true, Nellie. I enjoyed feeling idolized. But you knew it couldn't last forever, didn't you? I should have been beside you, not looking up at you.
I let you coddle me. I let myself indulge in your love. I thought everything would be alright as long as you kept telling me how adorable I was. They were like magic words to me. I kept my eyes shut. Mel, starting today, I'm going to do my best to be your sister. I'm all done holding you to fairy tale ideals. I won't make you pretend to be a prince for me anymore. And I won't try to be your princess either. I'm just going to be your little sister. So get back on your feet and stand tall, dearest Mel. I know you'll probably have to pay for what you've done when the Saintess goes free. And I know I'll probably cry about it for days. But I won't regret making the decision.
How is Nellie like one of the most mature people in this game? Well, I don't know what to say. I wasn't expecting you to handle this so maturely. You're putting your big brother to shame, Nellie.
Mother once told me that girls grow up faster than boys.
She was right about that. Thank you, Nellie, for accepting me in spite of all the awful things I've done, and for having me as your brother.
You're quite welcome, dearest Mel.
Seriously, she is handling this like an absolute champ. Like, if she had been the one we were trying to convince, she'd already have a plan for how to get Morgana out of there, so...
Well, it looks like that's one problem solved.
They finally reached the point in their relationship where they belong. If she could have come to terms with herself sooner, come to an understanding with him, then maybe she could have reeled in her ideals before she lost control of them. There we go. Who are you and what have you done with Nellie? She just removes her wig and reveals she's Maria. I am excited to see Maria in this universe. I want to know what the original Maria was like because she may have been my favorite character so far.
Yeah, maybe. This Nellie and the other Nellie seem to be of the same essence. They both have a somewhat excessive love for their brothers. And that love expressed itself by transforming him into a prince.
If she could have done the same thing then as she did here, then maybe their tragedy could have been avoided.
This is before then, though. Since they were able to fix things up in this life, maybe it'll have a positive effect on their next life. This could change the future.
They may share the same souls, but they lived in completely different times. Do you really think something like this could have any effect on the lives of people hundreds of years from now?
There's no way to be certain, of course, but considering how tightly the two seem to be bound, I doubt it will have no effect. I hope it has some effect.
Giselle.
I was there in that mansion as it all happened, and I just stood by and watched. I feel so guilty about that. If I had done something, then maybe it wouldn't have turned out like that. I hate what I was then, what I was until just recently. From the memories left imprinted down throughout the mansion, I showed you bits and pieces of their lives. And as I told you their tale, the only thing I contributed was disparaging commentary.
I don't feel like you were that critical of them.
I absolutely was. I talked about them like they were somehow beneath me.
Yeah, you did occasionally offer an opinion on someone or something you showed me beyond the doors. But the fact that you were mostly detached from the events there is what allowed me to get to the core of their characters. If you hadn't been in the position you were, so you could tell me the story the way you did, I would have never been able to talk them into helping. You contributed more than criticism. Your words weren't for nothing. They made this possible.
That makes me feel a lot better, hearing that from you.
And if you still regret your inaction, then make up for it now by taking action here, and have faith that it will bear fruit in their next lives.
I will. I wonder if Morgana might have a change of heart too. It's not like Mell wanted to bring her so much pain. He deeply regrets what he did, so maybe she won't bear quite as much resentment for him when she learns that.
Yeah, to be fair, she was very catty about Jacopo. But there was a lot of reasons to be catty about Jacopo. Jacopo kind of invited that bullshit, so...
Yes, I know what you're going to say. If that was enough to assuage her, she wouldn't have held on to her hatred for all those hundreds of years. Still though, I hope it does something for her, however small.
As do I.
It's gotten pretty late, so I'm gonna take Nellie back to the cottage.
Okay.
If you have some secret plan to get the other two keys, could you fill me in on it tomorrow?
Sure.
Also, I could get you another room if you wanted. This one isn't the nicest.
No, it's fine. I've come to realize I'm more at home in less comfortable environments.
Michael.
Am I just imagining it, or was that as depressing as it sounded? That's not quite what I was going for.
Well, anyway, if you're fine with it, suit yourself. Say,
Hmm?
I've got one huge lingering question, if you wouldn't mind enlightening me.
Yes?
Why would you go to such lengths for me? You seem to know Morgana, so I can understand why you would be fighting for her. But me? I had a part in putting her in that tower. You have every reason to hate me. So why would you want to help me?
If this was all it took for me to hate someone, I would curse every last man and woman in the world. I bear no animosity for you. And even if I did, you've committed to take action.
That doesn't explain why you were so concerned about us. It almost seemed like you actually cared about me and Nellie. But we're complete strangers. We just met today.
Because some part of me couldn't think of you as strangers anymore.
Huh? That's right. When he came by this afternoon to talk, he didn't feel like a stranger to me either. It was weird, like he'd known me my whole life. So I made him into my second brother.
Your second brother? You're more than welcome to change the order, Nellie. Make him number 2 and me number 1. Yes!
Oh, I wish I could join in and be big sister number 1. I'll have to think about it. After all that, you might be number 1 material.
Whoa! Why is that even up for consideration?
I'm just kidding, dearest Mell.
Oh. I'm still kind of confused, but anyway, I'm glad someone like you showed up. I've actually been praying every night for God to send someone who can get me out of this. I really am useless all on my own, constantly looking for someone to help me, unable to do anything by myself. And trust me, I realize how pathetic that is. Now you must have had a pretty good life to be able to be so proactive in the face of adversity. Well, I bet you had everyone's respect, helped people in need, had plenty of friends who had your back, and weren't tossed out by your family like I was. Well, you must have been incredibly blessed. I'm jealous, really. Sorry, that came out of nowhere, I know. Well, I should be going. See you tomorrow.
Good night, Michael, brother number 2.
Good night.
Michael, he wasn't trying to be.
Yeah, I know. I just thought it was rather funny. I'm not taking a stand because I've been blessed, but because I've got nothing left to lose. I fight for Morgana because I understand what it's like to be tortured day after day. Having experienced the loss of my siblings, I didn't want the two of them to go through the same thing. If anything, it's those who have lost the most that are the most likely to take action.
I'm not sure if you've realized it or not, Michael,
Hmm?
but you've gotten to be a great deal more expressive since arriving in this era. I can't see your face, but I can hear it in your voice, and I can feel it in your presence. So I'm sure it's showing there, too, making all sorts of faces I've never seen before. Some of the things you've lost, you seem to be getting back. So you can't say you've got nothing left to lose anymore. Promise me you'll let me see all these new faces for myself someday.
I will. I promise. If we can manage to destroy the mansion, that should release you from its darkness and allow us to see each other once again.
I trust you. I have faith we can do this.
Wait, but with the mansion's destruction, both our souls should be returned to their rightful places, which would mean erased from existence. Giselle,
What?
I just thought I sensed you grimacing.
Wow, you felt that?
What's the matter?
Sorry, I didn't want to bring down the mood. It's just, well, and I know this is asking for the moon, but I was just thinking it would be nice if you had a life you could go back to.
If I did.
Yeah, I mean, here you are, expressive as you've ever been, walking around outside, being around other people, talking to them. After all that time in the mansion, and without a life of your own to go back to. I'm sorry. I just, after seeing behind your door and learning how cruel and inhumane life was to you, I feel like the world could stand to do something good to make up for it.
It's done all the good it needs to. I have someone who cares enough to lament my fate. What more could I ask for?
Michael,
Thank you, Giselle. You're not the only one who's asking for the moon either. I wish I could have a life with you as the person I am now. And for that, knowing I have no future feels worse now than ever before.
alrighty, that's enough moping around for one night. We should start planning for tomorrow. Things are definitely looking up. It only took one day to get Mell on our side. So let's keep it up and win over the other two.
I would certainly like to, yes.
Psst, where did all that confidence go?
The other two won't be nearly as easy to convince as Mell. I'm not even sure if we'll be able to talk them into helping.
We do have a pretty good idea who the swordsman.
Who the okay. We do have a pretty good idea who the swordsman's in this for, though. The nun. That's a very confusing sentence.
So maybe we can get to him through her, like we did today with Nellie and Mell.
Maybe. All right, then we'll start by approaching her tomorrow.
Sounds like a plan.
The Lord, though, him I'm not so sure about. I'm assuming he's from behind the third door, but we didn't run into anyone he was close with today. And in Morgana's telling of the events of the Harvest Festival, she only mentioned 5 people.
Let's see. The Lord, the swordsman, Mell, Nellie, and the nun?
There's one person unaccounted for.
We just haven't run into them yet, that's all. If he's the man from the third door, I can't imagine she won't be here, too.
Who's losing their confidence now? In any event, tomorrow we talk to the nun. I only hope it goes as well as it did today.
You've got me. You don't have anything to worry about. Or, all things considered, you might not even need me.
No, I wouldn't say that.
You handled Mell pretty amazingly, though. I'm not gonna lie, my heart was pounding the whole time. I was afraid you were going to slip up and say something boneheaded. But you managed to keep it together, and I didn't have to come to the rescue.
Uh, I,
Well, I can make a book of quotes out of your performance today.
Oh, for the love of God, please don't.
So I'm not concerned at all. Say whatever you think is the right thing to say. I'm more than happy to sit back and watch.
The more you pile on the expectations, the more afraid it makes me that I'm going to trip up. Besides,
Hmm?
I don't think I could have done any of that without you.
Why not?
Well, my life was hardly as pride-worthy as Mell seemed to think, so I didn't really feel like I had a right to talk to him like that. But knowing you were there, urging me on, was what allowed me to act without hesitation. So, um, thank you.
No thanks necessary. But if you say so, then you're more than welcome. I'm glad I could be of assistance, if just a little.
That you were.
Now let's keep this momentum up tomorrow. It's getting a bit late though, so you should probably get some sleep. Hmm? What is it?
I kind of don't want to sleep.
What? Why not?
For somewhat childish reasons.
Aw, are you sad you won't be able to hear my voice? Are you lonely, you poor, poor dear?
I am.
What? That's the last thing I expected you to admit to. Uh, um, okay, well, do you want to stay up and talk for a little longer then? Not too long, though. You need to rest up for tomorrow. And who knows, maybe I'll show up in your dreams if you wish hard enough.
All right, I'm gonna catch up on chat now that we've been through that massive scene. I do like this message about fixing your mistakes going forward instead of getting caught up on your past crimes. I do actually really like that. I was really interested to see like where the moral of this story was going to go, right? Because we've had a couple of different ones. Um, like Michael's refusal to really wish badly on anyone, and refusing to curse them and all of that. So I think that this is kind of a nice, like, hopeful place to end with this final door, and I do like it. I do agree that Mel's assumption that we have the privilege to be kind is it's very interesting. He's young, right? And he's having to shoulder all of this responsibility at once. And so I assume that maybe that's it and it's just inexperience in life. But I don't know. All right.
The fact that I'm even able to talk with Giselle right now is a miracle and a blessing.
So is it avarice for me to yearn for more, knowing I've already been granted such a great bounty?
I want to see her face as much as she wants to see mine.
She's infinitely more expressive than me, and I want a good long look at all those many expressions up close. I want more than her voice. I want her whole body. I want to feel her warmth. In this era, I have all 5 of my senses in full working order, as I did when I was alive. Giselle, though, she doesn't. She remains dead. As lively as she may be now, that's one thing she did not get back. I truly wish she could have been here too. She would have certainly found more joy in her renewed life than me, and she certainly belongs under the sun far more than I do. But she, rather than me, was the one left behind in that realm of darkness, a fact that frustrates me immensely. In life, I would have considered her remark about seeing her in my dreams silly and saccharine, but now, I very much hope it happens. They're so sweet. All right. Are we counting down? Yep, 2 days until her death. We're 1 day down. Are we gonna do it?
Wake up. Come on. Wake up, please. Come on, up with you. Oh, thank goodness. You were out so good I was scared you might be dead for a minute. Good morning. How are you feeling? Huh? Why are you looking at me like I just kicked your cat?
It's incredible how much more pleasant it is to be woken up by a woman than a boy.
That's the thanks I get for waking you up. Or did I interrupt a nice dream?
I didn't I? And it was a dirty dream too, I bet. You definitely seem like the mind in the gutter kind of guy. I will murder you.
Whoa, 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 let's not be hasty now. You said you were going to help me out. That doesn't sound very helpful.
And the worst part is how similar his wake-up call was to Giselle's. I'm just kidding. And I can get up on my own.
Fair enough, I guess. Though, put yourself in my shoes for a sec. I came in, and you were still as a corpse. It startled me enough that I took your pulse.
He touched me while I was sleeping.
It was faint, but it was there.
That's wonderful news.
They're handing out breakfast in the dining hall. You can go get a plate yourself if you want. It's just some bread and wine, though.
Dining hall?
There's quite the crowd. All the people here helping with festival prep, so you should probably hurry if you want to get some.
Hold on, I need a minute. My mind's still waking up.
Hmm?
First off, I thought you said that the church wasn't offering boarding at the moment. So why a dining hall?
Right, it's not, but they still do offer breakfast. For free, of course.
I see. Now, what do you mean by festival prep?
As I mentioned yesterday, the Heart of the Harvest Festival is here at the church, but it's a citywide event. There are all sorts of supplies that need to be purchased, decorations made and put up, that sort of thing. So we've got volunteers from the city here to help.
I see.
I believe today they're supposed to be putting up decorations outside the chapel, so the courtyard should be a bustle.
The courtyard?
Yeah, less court, more yard, really. We passed through it on our way here yesterday.
Oh, right. I think I know what you're referring to.
So, as long as I'm here, I don't have much choice but to help with prep. I'd honestly rather set Morgana free right now, but the other two are bound to find out if either of us do anything too conspicuous. So for now, I should stick to my routine, at least where people can see me.
That would be the smart thing to do.
Yeah. Anyway, let me know when you're planning on doing anything. If there's anything I can do to help, I will.
I'll let you know. There we go. Mel, we have a plan. You tell the Lord and Swordsman that we know about Morgana so you can lure them to our room, and then we spring the trap. Unfortunately, we haven't necessarily shown ourselves very good at trap making, so like they would try to barge in and it's just a bucket of water perched on the door.
Okay, well, I should get going. See you later, I guess.
Mel, do you know where I could find the nun?
Her? She should be in the dining hall.
Thank you. And the other two men?
The Lord and his bodyguard? They're only around early mornings and nights, so I doubt either of them are here right now.
Why only then?
That's when we go up into the tower. Though even if they were on the property, you wouldn't be able to just walk up and talk to them. Especially not the Lord. Also, I don't keep track of where they go or what they do. Sorry. Well, I don't really want to know what they're up to. So I've kept my distance.
Understandable. Thank you anyway.
Mm-hmm. See you later.
He's holding it together fairly well, all things considered.
Finally resolving to do something about Morgana took a big weight off his shoulders, I'd guess.
Oh, Giselle.
Good morning, Michael.
Morning. It's a bit soon to be feeling relieved, I think. There's still work to be done before Mel can face Morgana.
That first step is still a big one, though, at least for him.
I suppose.
Anyway, it sounds like the Lord is going to be difficult to make contact with, which is what I was afraid of.
Our only opportunities are when he's here to feed Morgana.
Mel did say he didn't keep close tabs on the two of them, so there might be more than just that. First priority is getting you fed, though. So off to the dining hall we go.
Out of curiosity, did you sleep at all?
I haven't been sleepy once since I became the maid. But I'm used to it, so don't worry about me.
You said you see what I'm seeing there in the darkness, didn't you?
That's what it looks like, at least.
Which means when my eyes are closed, she has no light at all. Maybe I shouldn't have gone to sleep after all.
I know what you're thinking, Michael. And no, you're wrong. You need your sleep. You won't have the energy to do anything if you don't keep yourself well rested and nourished.
You're right. We should get going.
To the dining hall.
All right, I think we're gonna end here for tonight. I'm not gonna tax my throat anymore until it's feeling a little bit better. Um, so next stream is Tuesday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. I think we'll have everyone back, so that should be good. So I'm gonna guess we'll do some Ace Attorney next time. We'll find out. Yeah, Giselle's going to ratatouille us into cooking a delicious breakfast. That's good because we can't cook at all. So yeah, next stream Tuesday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. I don't have any other announcements, so thank you for the well wishes. I think it's just the change in humidity. We've had some storms coming up, but yeah, thanks for hanging out all, and be back Tuesday. Good night. Bye.